The garden is beginning to gather momentum. Welcome to PDX Garden Home. I garden here in the Pacific Northwest in Portland, Oregon, working within the driveway garden, where each job builds towards what's coming next. Today I'm planting into the beds, beets, lettuce, and bulb onions, crops that settle in early, making the most of this cool spring weather. Back at the potting bench, I'll be starting padron peppers from seed. A reminder that some of the garden's warmth-loving plants are just beginning their journey. The seedlings in the garage are taking their next steps as well, moving outside little by little to harden off and adjust to the conditions they'll soon grow in. And as always, in a spring gardening, I'll be keeping an eye on the slugs. It's a day of small, steady work, the kind of work I enjoy, and the kind that shapes the garden to come. So come along with me, and let's garden.
Bare feet in the garden, morning on my sleeves, dirt under these fingernails, breathing with the leaves. I'm just tending the small things, one new leaf at a time. Holding space for the slow change, water, warmth, and the quiet kind of light. Oh, the quiet kind of light. Talking to the seedlings, whispering their names, trusting all the hidden roots to do their gentle, patient games. I'm just tending the small things, one new leaf at a time, holding space for the slow change, water, warmth, and the quiet kind of light. Yeah, the quiet kind of light. Nothing here is in a hurry, still it all keeps moving on, like the way my own heart softens every time the day is done. I'll keep tending the small things, one new leaf at a time, learning from their quiet courage how to grow and how to take my time. How to grow, how to take my time.
There is no place I'd rather be than right here next to you. And I truly love to talk about your lovers, old and new. You never spare me details as you confide in me. I smile and give advice, but cannot tell you how I feel. How easy it would be to fall for you, but that of course is something I won't do. 'Cause we've ship to an end. How crazy that would be, yet here I am, falling in love again. How stupid I would be.
Poor petunias. Are they going to survive? I mean, they are kind of coming up, but just I'm way later than normal. I planted them later than I have in the past because I had problems with them flowering under lights, having to trim them down all before they went out, and I wanted to kind of delay that, but I may have waited too long because we're now entering April and they're only this size. I want them to be ready to go by, say, June. And then my saplogosis are looking dismal, but I don't know. I have faith. I think they'll still kind of come around. Stay tuned to see what happens with these guys. Well, my tulips haven't come out yet. They're struggling a bit. I'm still hopeful. I see some stems and things that look like they're gonna come out, but I'm not having a big tulip year. But what has come out are the pansies. And so I wanna take you around and show you the pansies that we planted a few weeks back. We grew them under lights and then we planted them out here in the garden, the driveway garden, a few weeks back. And now I think they're starting to bloom and carry the garden for us at this point in the season. So let's go take a look. Okay, so the pansies are planted along this wall, and as I mentioned, my tulips are not really out yet, except for one solo beautiful red tulip carrying the day for the tulips anyway. My crocuses are out. My crocuses were later than I thought, so that could mean that the tulips will still give us a show here. I also didn't get as many daffodils as I expected, so I think I just got my bulbs in too late. I waited till like the first week of December, and that was not on purpose. It was just scheduling and me being aggressive with what I thought I might get away with. But this is supposed to be about the pansies. So I planted pansies along this wall, and they're just starting to bloom, so they'll probably be able to show you a better show later when they're just totally filled out, but I'm just so happy with how they're doing right now. I couldn't wait to show you all what they're doing at this beginning stage of their showing off. And then some more pansies here. I love that color. And then the blues are okay, so then I'm gonna take you back from this side, which is the west side. We're gonna go over to the east side on the cherry tree wall where I planted pansies around the cherry tree wall. So my intention was to border this cherry tree wall with a line of pansies, and plants are in there, but we've started to got some that are coming out there, slowly but surely. Yep, this project is still going. This retaining wall is going to be weeks in the making, but it'll be quite the garden wall when I'm done. You'll see. So what I have here is some of the Waltham broccoli. It's a fairly standard type broccoli, which you might expect, the kind that you might see in a supermarket, for example. I've got the blue curled kale I was looking at. I was wondering, well, is that actually, were those seeds viable? Looks like they're not. Looks like they're kind of worn out. So I'll get rid of those seeds. But I got 2 that sprouted there. But that's good to know. Something I'll need to remember to get rid of that seed packet so I don't mess with that later. Scarlet kale. Lots of kale going on here. The dino kale, my favorite for eating. And these, by the way, what I'm doing here is moving my seedlings from the indoor tray to the outdoor tray, the one with holes in it, so I can put it out for hardening off by the cherry tree on the cherry tree wall. These are cup and saucer flower. This is the blue wheat grown for decoration. Forget-me-nots. This is the sweet violet, which I think just hasn't had enough time to germinate and come up. It's a perennial that once established would work well, but can take a little while. So I'm going to hold on to that, throw it back in my tray that you can't see over here. And this is borage. Okay, so this tray is ready to go over to the cherry tree wall. Okay, I'm gonna plant some padron peppers. I think of these as like the Spanish version of shishitos. Kind of, they serve a similar purpose. You kind of blister them or roast them and throw some salt on them and eat them as kind of appetizers or side dishes. And I like it. Yeah, it's good. But it's similar to the shishitos. It's like they're kind of mildly spicy until you just get one that happens to be very spicy. So both of those are kind of like you're turning the roulette wheel in terms of the amount of spice that you get with the peppers. And I've grown these before. I grew these last year. They were a really good producer for me last year. So if you're looking for something that will work in the Pacific Northwest, these will work. I've said before that I find that in our environment, counterintuitively, it's actually easier to grow the chilies, the spicy peppers, than it is to grow the big, large sweet peppers. That's been my experience anyway. Okay, a whole tray of padrones. We'll see padrons, I'm not sure, but we'll see. We'll see how they do. You may be wondering what I'm throwing around the garden here. These pellets. This is sluggo, and it's pretty critical for my setup anyway, because I don't have the time to do the manual slug reduction, and that's one of our key pests here in the Pacific Northwest, and particularly where I'm at, Portland, Oregon. All this rain and everything, just the climate and slugs. Slugs are the main thing. So this does a good job of keeping them down. I don't think it kills all of them. You know, I'll get a little slug damage here and there, but that's okay. I mean, I can live with a little bit. I just don't want it to destroy all my crops, destroy all my stuff that I'm doing. And yeah, and you know what's interesting about it is I don't know where the slugs go. I guess they die and then they go back into the dirt, or where they came from and they die. And it's not like I don't see slug carcasses anywhere, which is when I started gardening, I don't know, 18 years ago or whatever, my first year trying things, and I found out about the problems with slugs. I used kind of I think it was called like metaldehyde or methylaldehyde, or I don't know, something another thing I can't pronounce, right? But some kind of chemical thing, and it'd come in a powder, and you'd put that powder out, and it'd be this white powder, and then you'd just see all these slugs. It was just devastation across the walkway and everywhere, and you don't see anything like that with this. And so, and I don't use that other stuff once I learned what I was doing more, because it's toxic, not. Well, I guess I don't know for sure, but it's not organic, and so I would have imagined it's not too great for you. This is supposed to be organic. It's primarily made with iron, from what I understand. So, yeah. Now I've seen some people who just started using sluggo in a video online, and they had big piles of this stuff kind of around their plants to protect. I don't think that's necessary. I'm just kind of casting it out, and you know, getting it around the edges of the area you're trying to protect is a good idea. But I mean, you got to think about where slugs are. I mean, slugs they like to hide in the edges of things, and where it's cool. They don't like to be out in the sun, so to speak. So they're going to be kind of behind the planters and the containers. They're going to be hiding in there and underneath things, and wherever I have pots or whatever, they'll be underneath or around the pots. And so, you know, I throw it pretty liberally in areas that you might not think that I need to protect or anything. But it's not. I'm not trying. I don't like put a ring around a a particular plant to try to protect it, I'll cast a little bit around the lettuce, for example, to keep the slugs away from it. But what I really am trying to do is I am trying to cut down on the populations where they most likely are hiding. So it's just a numbers game for me. I'm not like, oh, I'm trying to keep you from ever touching this particular plant. I mean, I'd like to do that, but I don't have faith or hope that I can necessarily do that. But I think if I cut down the populations enough of slugs, then the amount of damage or the amount of times that they actually attack a plant that I want is going to diminish. But it's going to be luck of the draw. I'm still going to have some slugs that attack things that I wasn't wanting them to, and that's just how it goes. I'll live with that. Again, I'm just playing the numbers game. I'm just trying to cut down on the populations, not create an impermeable barrier around my plants, because I don't think that's actually possible. The moths are out. The cabbage moth, although it seems to be heading over there to the peas and to the broad beans, the fava beans, but that is the bane of the existence, second to slugs. Those cabbage loppers, those caterpillars that get all over the brassicas. The garden doesn't rush. It moves at its own pace, asking only for steady hands and a bit of attention along the way. And in these small moments, planting, preparing, tending, we begin to see the season unfold. Thanks for being here in the garden with me, and I'll see you next time.